Don't let the ghosts and the ghouls disturb you.
Hey, what's up guys? This is Josh from Nightmare on Woodsboro Lake. Sorry about the kind of late post here. I planned to do some stuff over the weekend, but I kind of got real wrapped up in all the Halloween festivities, went out to a bonfire and had some drinks, hung out with some friends, and then, you know, did some pumpkin carving yesterday, and went out and had like breakfast with my wife, and we just watched a bunch of horror movies yesterday and kind of put recording on the back burner, but I'm back. And tonight you get a 2-for-1 deal. So this first video is regarding a YouTube video I just watched on Friday night about these two teenagers. This was like a real life crime thing. So these two teenagers from Pocatello, Idaho, which from me, it's quite a drive. I actually passed through there when my wife and I go to Utah, but it's quite a ways out there. In September of 2006, September 22nd, 2006 to be exact, this girl, Cassie, Joe Stoddart, she was house sitting for her aunt and uncle, and had a few friends over. Well, two of those friends ended up being the ones that would kill her in cold blood. And so in this video, they kind of explore what happened, and a little bit of the aftermath of the murder. So these two boys, Brian Draper and I believe his name was Torey Adamcik or something. I can't remember his last name. I can't pronounce it. Well, they both came to this party with their friend Cassie. It really wasn't a party. It was just kind of like a little shindig for a couple of them. And she was hanging out with her boyfriend as well. I believe... Oh man, I can't remember his name for the life of me. So it's her boyfriend, and Brian and Torey. So they're hanging out, watching movies. You know, I guess the movie choice of the night was Kill Bill Volume 2, according to the killer. So they're just chilling, watching, and in the video, Brian states that he kind of gets bored of it, and so him and his buddy decide they're going to leave. The girl's boyfriend asks, you know, if they can come back and pick him up after they're done doing what they're doing, because they're like, we want to go see a movie. And originally they stated they wanted to go see Click, the Adam Sandler comedy at the time. Good movie, by the way. I've always enjoyed that one. So they leave and leave the door unlocked, the downstairs back door, inconspicuously, so they have somewhere to sneak in later. Well, previous footage shows the night, or like the day before the murder, the day of the murder at school, and that night they were talking about their hit list, so they were recording themselves. I mean, holy shit. Why would you want to like have any kind of incriminating footage like just lying around? I know that you want to immortalize yourself, but teenagers are really careless with shit. So but they record themselves talking about their kill list, and they're on their way to her house that night, and they're talking about, murdering Cassie. I believe it was Brian says he's super horny thinking about killing someone, and they were like saying, oh, she's our friend, but it has to happen. She's perfect. And she's out house sitting out in the country. Can it get any more perfect than that? Like, the setup is right. The victim is right. So they are super excited about killing this girl tonight. But they go ahead and they plan. They pretend to go to the movies. Claim they went and saw the movie Pulse. Later on, we find out that was a lie, of course, because that was trying to be their cover story. But then it ended up they didn't even remember any scenes of the movie. So the police were like, "You're telling me you sat in this movie the whole time and you don't remember a single thing from the movie?" And the one boy tries to pass off the plot of White Noise, and claims that that's part of Pulse, but all he was doing was summarizing and giving a brief synopsis of the previous film. So that ended up not working out in his favor. Sorry, my dog's over here chewing on his Halloween toy while I'm filming. So yeah, they claim they go to the movies. They sneak back in the house, and the boyfriend had actually ended up getting picked up by his mom, according to police. And so he left. He didn't want to spend the night out there with her at the country house. Offered for her to come stay at his house. And she didn't want to leave the house. She was house sitting. She knew she had a job to do and she wanted to stick by it. So that's good on her, but it's bad for what happens to her next. So they sneak in the house. They think the boyfriend and the girlfriend are there, so they think they're getting a 2-for-1 deal. They're making noise downstairs, trying to get them to come, investigate these noises and stuff. The last thing you would want to do in a horror movie. And it ends up just being her. She ends up not coming down, so they end up coming up to find her. And end up stabbing this girl 30 times and murdering her. They end up, going about their business and start recording themselves after they've left the scene. I don't know if there's ever been any footage of the crime. Probably not, because they're both busy stabbing the shit out of this girl. But so they get out and they leave, and they're recording themselves, and Brian, you can hear him on the tape, and he's getting super excited. He's like, "Oh my God, that didn't even feel real." And I can't believe I stabbed her in the throat. It just didn't feel it didn't feel real. It was so quick. And so more incriminating footage of them, obviously on their way home, which we find out later they didn't actually go home. So later on, it's discovered that they had gone to Torey's house, I believe, and gotten gloves and a shovel. So they didn't take the body or move it or anything. They left Cassie at the house dead, bleeding out. And rest in peace. I mean, no one should ever have to go through that. But they went out and they buried this tape, and tried to burn. I guess they tried to burn stuff too, or I don't know, it was like they tried to burn it and they buried it. Which police ended up discovering this, this stuff, because in the end, one of them cooperated and gave them the information they needed, not before they put police through hell, trying to like leading them around in circles. But so they try to dispose of that stuff. Probably would dig it up later, if they got the chance, but they didn't. They were taken in for questioning, as some of the last people that saw Cassie alive, and all of their information they were giving them and stuff just didn't add up. Like, no one saw them at the movie theater, and their timeline was wrong. Somebody saw them at like really super early in the morning at the gas station buying matches and stuff, and so these guys were just burying themselves in a hole, and then they try to pass it off as, okay, fine, we'll tell the truth. The real truth is we're breaking into cars, and we just didn't want anybody to know because it's like $10,000 or 10 years or something. It was some like weird, like, oh, it's so many years or a car that you break into, and we broke into several, so we didn't want to get in trouble. And police weren't buying it. No, I wasn't buying it. Sitting there watching these interrogation tapes, I was not buying it. I loved how much raw footage there was. Like, this was so riveting. Like, just watching these two killers trying to like formulate their alibis, and like on the video, like the night before when he was like excited that he stabbed her in the throat, and he's like, the other guy, Torey, was like, calm down, we need to get our like story straight, like, you know, because they knew eventually that was probably going to come because they were the last people to see her alive. They tried to play it off, you know, oh, this was a huge party that we were going to have, and there was all these people we invited, like, but it ended up just being us four, and like, so throughout the interrogation, they're denying that they had any involvement in her murder. And the police were playing the whole good cop, bad cop, good cop, like switching it up, acting like they were their friends. They were like, we know you couldn't have done such a thing. Like, we're just trying to help you out here. Like, help us help you out, because we don't want to see you behind bars for the rest of your life for something you didn't do, even though for a fact they know they did. They were just trying to like play on their, like, the whole buddy, like, come on, man, just tell me what's up. Like, it was interesting to watch, to say the least. Literally, this video was 2 hours and 20 minutes long, almost 2 hours and 21 minutes long. And eventually it comes out that these guys love horror movies, and the one collects knives and stuff, and, you know, they ask, I believe it was Brian, like, well, what's your favorite movie? And he's like, well, I love horror movies. And then they ask him, like, well, what's your favorite movie? And he's like, well, what genre? And they're like, well, anything. And he's like, favorite movie of all time, Halloween. And they're like, oh, yeah, that's a cult classic. Like, that's a good movie. And of course it is a good movie. We all know that. Like, I love horror movies, but I'm not going out and murdering people. But, so, I mean, but I feel like that kind of gave them, like, a little inkling, too, of, like, they're like, okay, this definitely lines up. And it comes out, they try to blame the movie Scream. And they say that inspired them to go ahead and try to do this insane crime. Like, I mean, because the whole thing, you know, the whole premise of the first one is these two killers like switching off and killing people. These guys ended up having their own like kill list, right? Like I had mentioned before in the video. They literally had gone to another girl's house, and I guess there's footage of this too. Earlier that night, looking to try to kill this other girl. She wasn't home, so they're like, okay, we got to move down the list. And of course, they already had planned on killing Cassie. So like, well, let's just work down the list, you know. And they were like talking like in the video, like we just got to get this first kill out of the way, and then you know they were excited about like working down their list and killing all these people. And these dudes were like really fucked up. But you know, Scream, it's these two guys killing all these people, and you know what they did say in that movie though rings true to this though, is that horror movies don't create psychos. Movies make psychos more creative. These guys can go ahead and blame movies all they want. There was already something wrong from the get-go. You know, there has to be... I was learning in criminology class, like back when I was in college, that like there's like certain traits within all of us that really any of us could be serial killers with the right, you know, prompting and the right like nudge in the right direction. And I mean, obviously something just clicked in these guys and they decided they wanted to be killers. And I honestly feel like Torey was the Billy Loomis of it all, and this Brian guy was more of the Stu. He was more of like the, yeah man, of course I would love to do this with you. Like, you know, he kind of just like seemed like on board, but he wasn't the one like pulling all the strings and figuring all this all out. I feel like he was just kind of like his henchman almost, like helping him carry out these murders. And ends up finally turning, they get them to turn on each other, and Brian ends up spilling the beans, and they're both arrested and charged. God, it was just so interesting. There was so much information. Like, I'm not even giving you all the information that I had to process from this video. But I really think it is worth your time to check it out. I know 2 hours and 20 minutes sounds like a long time. It is worth it. It'll have you going the whole time. So that was on that channel, Explore With Us. And it said something about Scream killers. But definitely would recommend it. If you got time, you know, you're up late or bored and just want to kill some time too, that's great as well. It was just interesting to watch the raw footage of these kids like literally incriminating themselves on videotape, as well as watching them squirm and struggle and trying to play it cool when they're busted. They don't really know that they're busted, but they're busted, and then, you know, eventually it all comes to light. And just crazy story, and it's really sad that girl was killed, and I'm glad that they were caught before they could continue down that list and become these mass serial killers that they were striving to be. I think, well, it'd be kind of a short movie. I was gonna say it would be interesting to see like a film made out of this documentary, like an actual movie with characters, and see it played out as a scenario. But yeah, just crazy stuff. Like, if you want more information, you want to talk to me more about it, I would love to talk to you about it. I'm not trying to drag this video out, and there's a lot of stuff that I learned from this video that I haven't shared because it's quite the overload. But yeah, good video, guys. I hope you guys check it out. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Listen to me rant a little bit. You know what to do. Like, comment, subscribe, and I will catch you guys later.